When the news of actress Mary's suicide broke, the entire internet was shocked. In her last Weibo post, there were only two sentences: "Leo, I really like you, but you were too dazzling. Even getting close would burn me." Everyone knows that Leo is the nickname for Tom's new character in the play. It suddenly dawned on me that the white moonlight I had secretly loved for 10 years also had a past of unrequited love. I woke up to find that I had returned to 3 years ago. This time, I was determined to help her fulfill her wishes. "George, you've received an invitation to the dating reality show. You are my shining star." My agent's words pulled me back from confusion and sorrow into reality. I hurried online to check the trending topics, and the internet was calm, without any of those heart-wrenching news stories. I realized that it seemed I had gone back to 3 years ago, and Mary was still alive. Thinking of this, a complex emotion flashed through my originally dim eyes, and a sour feeling surged in my heart like a tide. After all, she was the school beauty, the goddess in the eyes of all the boys, and she was the one who carried my 10 years of youth. She may never know that there was an inconspicuous bookworm sitting next to her who silently liked her back then. Just speaking a word to her would make my heart race. But 3 years later, she gave up her life because of someone else. I never imagined she would have such a humble side. Do you remember the love letter that Mary wrote to Tom? Those carefully chosen words made one's heart ache every time they were read. "What's wrong? Why aren't you excited at all? I told you that you would definitely make it through. And here comes the opportunity." The agent joked exaggeratedly, but he also understood the effort I had put in over the years, so there was a hint of emotion in his words. In my previous life, due to various concerns, I declined to participate in this dating reality show. Meanwhile, Mary inexplicably withdrew after recording one episode. Later, some said it was because Tom left midway due to scheduling conflicts. Looking back now, it seems everything had its signs from the beginning. I took a deep breath and said to the agent, "Get ready. I've decided to participate. This time, I will make sure she gets what she wants." That night, the dating reality show officially announced its guest lineup. Shortly after, Mary retweeted this Weibo post: "You are the joy of my remaining life." Immediately after, Tom, who had collaborated with her on a TV drama, also retweeted the Weibo post, captioning it, "In the rest of my life, I will only be happy with you." Just in time, the TV drama they starred in, Missing You, is currently airing hotly, and fans are instantly excited, starting to ship their CP. Did they fall in love because of the drama? It even seems like this was agreed upon in advance. I looked at these comments filled with bitterness and emotion while also feeling puzzled. They had so many opportunities to be together, so why did they still miss out? Old, icy gaze of the girl from back then. And after a moment of thought, I felt that she was probably too shy in front of the person she liked. Therefore, I needed to create more opportunities for them, because only by bravely expressing themselves can they pursue the ones they like. On the day of the recording, I threw aside my agent's repeated reminders to present a handsome image in front of the camera and deliberately dressed myself in an ordinary manner, even wearing a baseball cap so as not to interfere with them. Dressed in a suit, the tall and handsome Tom mistook me for a staff member and handed me his suitcase. To avoid embarrassing him, I quietly took the luggage and started to carry it. Fortunately, I have quite a bit of strength. Otherwise, it would have been a bit challenging. I never expected that all the guests would take me for a staff member, and the director, for reasons unknown, did not explain. After moving luggage 3 or 4 times, I was already exhausted. Fortunately, the last guest was Mary. She only brought a small suitcase. I instinctively walked over to help with her luggage, but she dodged me. "You're not staff, are you?" she frowned, looking at me in confusion, and even tiptoed to lift my hat. My heart tightened suddenly, and at that moment, I saw Tom's originally gentle smile stiffen slightly. "You are George," he said, stepping forward and inserting himself between me and Mary with an apologetic expression. "I'm really sorry. I thought you were staff and handed the suitcase to you." Mary is a bit of a neat freak. She doesn't like others touching her things. "Let me handle it." His words clearly implied that I had deliberately dressed this way to get close to Mary. Sure enough, Mary's expression turned somewhat unpleasant. The barrage instantly became lively. Who is this guy? So calculating. He's that 18-line little star, probably trying to ride on our best actress's coattails to get ahead. I can hear this scheme all the way in New York. I was a bit stunned, sensing Tom's subtle hostility towards me, and could only apologize softly. I'm sorry, I didn't know that I... At that moment, Mary handed me a pack of tissues. Her delicate features, even expressionless, were so beautiful that it was hard to look away. The sunlight spilled over her fair profile, as if it were coated in a layer of flowing gold. It's okay, just wipe your sweat, she said. Tom's expression instantly darkened. I suddenly felt a headache. Kindness is a good thing, but in front of someone I like, I still need to avoid misunderstandings. So, risking being accused of being aloof, I pushed the tissue back to her, but accidentally brushed against her icy fingers. Oh, it's fine. I'm going upstairs to tidy up the room, I said, and after that, I hurriedly escaped the scene, leaving space for them. After all the guests arrived, we had a brief self-introduction during lunch. Later, the popular singer Amy suggested playing Truth or Dare. When it was my turn, I chose Truth. Tom immediately looked at me, his tone seemingly loaded with meaning. Giorgio, you're so handsome. You must have quite a few girlfriends, right? How many? Everyone's gaze fell on me, and even Mary slightly turned to look at me, her expression becoming somewhat cold. I was puzzled and answered honestly. I haven't dated anyone. Amy exclaimed in surprise, raising her voice. Not a single one? You have such high standards. I smiled politely. After all, the person I had a crush on was so outstanding. When it was Mary's turn, she was asked if she had someone she liked, and she generously added, her gaze becoming a bit tender. Yes, and he's right here. As soon as she said this, the entire venue erupted. Who else could it be besides Tom, with whom she had shared moments? Amidst everyone's teasing, Tom's ears instantly turned red. Please don't shout so loudly. I looked at the two of them, a perfect match, and felt a bit suffocated. The once unattainable her is now so proactive, but my heart feels like it's being gnawed at by something, and I can only watch helplessly as the person I secretly love like someone else. This feeling is truly awkward. Before becoming Mary's deskmate, I was always an inconspicuous presence. I always wore thick black frame glasses, dressed in a faded school uniform, and had long messy hair that covered my eyes. So even when Mary actively chose to sit next to me, the other boys felt no sense of crisis. They all thought that a swan could never fall for an ugly duckling like me. But her excellence and gentleness were like an addictive poison, drawing me in deeply. I still remember the scene where she stood in front of me, threatening those bullies with the police. Clearly, they were numerous and fierce, yet she stepped up for a deskmate she had hardly spoken to all week. She was both aloof and brave, upright, and just. The moment she pulled me up from the ground, that accidental glance we shared became an obsession in my heart. So when I heard the news of her passing, I found it so hard to believe. I always felt that the shining her should not have fallen so lonely, and certainly not for such an unspeakably tragic reason. So even if everyone thinks I have ulterior motives, even if she misunderstands me, it doesn't matter as long as she can be happy. That night, the agent called my ancestor. You better not have any thoughts about the best actress. Those two clearly make a couple. If you get involved, those fans will tear you apart. I looked a bit listless and lied. I don't have those kinds of thoughts. Besides, she already has someone she likes, but that person doesn't like her back. The next morning, I groggily made my way to the kitchen in search of something to eat, only to run into Mary, who was cooking noodles. She wore an apron, and her petite figure looked even more charming. Even the way she added salt was filled with grace. The aroma of eggs caught my attention, and my eyes lit up. Good morning, actress. She turned to glance at me, and a hint of a smile appeared on her previously calm face. Good morning. Her gentle voice made my ears feel slightly warm, and I awkwardly searched for a topic. Are you cooking noodles? As soon as the words left my mouth, I felt that my choice of topic was rather clumsy, making it seem more like an intentional pickup line. To my surprise, she gently invited me. Would you like to join me? I just happened to make enough for two. At that moment, the comment section became lively again. No way. He can't possibly not know that Tom's favorite breakfast is noodles, right? This is clearly for Tom. It's obviously just polite talk, and this guy is pretending not to understand. It's really disgusting. The actress is so nice. She can't just ignore him on purpose, right? Boo-hoo, now Tom's noodles are gone. Tom, hurry up. There's a scheming guy stealing your breakfast. I was just about to agree when I heard a voice behind me. Mary, you've already cooked the noodles, huh? I can tell your skills are great just by the smell. Tom, dressed in casual clothes, didn't even glance at me as he quickly walked over to Mary, his eyes sparkling. I suddenly realized that I might have been a bit too sentimental and hurriedly exited the kitchen. I just remembered that my agent asked me to lose weight, so I want to have breakfast. Luckily, I reacted in time. I almost ended up being disliked by her. The comments immediately started mocking me. Look, the main character is here. The scheming guy has to give away. Woo-woo. If they get together in the future, will the movie queen cook noodles for Tom every day? Just thinking about it makes me happy. By the way, why do I feel like the movie queen seems a bit down? To perform well in the show, I really didn't have breakfast, but I have low blood sugar, so I could only suck on a piece of candy as I made my way to the living room, silently praying that the first day's game wouldn't be too physically demanding. But things didn't go as planned. After the voting pairing, not only did I end up teaming up with a 35-year-old uncle, but I also had to ride bikes with him to a nearby amusement park to complete the project check-in. Looking at the uncle's somewhat clumsy body, I sighed helplessly and could only take on a bit more myself. It was not easy to reach the amusement park, and I found that Mary and Tom were also here. Strange, is their task location also here? Watching them get along so harmoniously, I couldn't help but doubt whether my previous inference was wrong. They seemed inseparable, and Tom seemed to really like her. But why weren't they together? Having not eaten breakfast, my head felt heavy at this moment, so I temporarily pushed their matters aside. After parting ways with the uncle to search for the check-in point, I felt my strength waning, yet I didn't see any food stalls along the way. I secretly lamented my consistently bad luck. I intended to find a place to rest for a bit, but suddenly felt dizzy and faint, collapsing directly to the ground. The next moment, a hurried sound of footsteps approached, and I was helped up, a piece of candy stuffed into my mouth, the sweet and clawing taste. STE spreading in my mouth. George, are you an idiot who diets without having breakfast? A girl's voice scolded me, and this familiar yet caring voice instantly brought me back to my senses. How could it be? Mary, wasn't she supposed to be with Tom? When I finally regained my composure and was about to ask her to let go of me, she stubbornly supported me as we walked towards the entrance of the amusement park. Not far away, there happened to be a noodle shop across the street. Mary, you don't need to support me anymore. I'm not dizzy now. Feeling more and more eyes on us, I became extremely nervous, fearing that the fans would scold her because of this. However, Mary continued walking, her delicate profile seemingly glowing in the sunlight, though her expression remained serious for some reason. The corners of my mouth lifted slightly, and I found myself somewhat reluctant to part from the time spent with her. This action caught Mary's attention. Is it funny? I immediately wiped the smile off my face, but then I remembered her cleanliness obsession and couldn't help but doubt that she must be feeling uncomfortable right now, only supporting me out of kindness, which filled me with guilt. I'm sorry, I didn't expect it to turn out like this, she sighed softly, her tone filled with helplessness and reproach. Then can you please pay more attention to your health in the future? Her words, full of concern, left me somewhat at a loss. I even doubted whether she recognized me. At that moment, Tom appeared behind us out of nowhere, walking over quickly with a hint of hostility in his tone. Mary, how'd he get here? What happened? Hearing this, Mary stopped in her tracks, releasing her grip on my arm, as if she was anxious to avoid suspicion. I could only cooperate and quickly step back a few paces, leaving the opportunity for explanation to them. I'll just go over there for breakfast. Then you guys chat, I said, and once again I left without looking back, try to ignore the rising sense of unwillingness within me. George, Don't covet what doesn't belong to you. It's best not to have even a hint of fantasy, so as not to disturb her. After a busy morning, I was exhausted and felt helpless upon hearing that I had to make lunch myself. When I returned to the living room, I found everyone sitting on the sofa. As soon as Amy saw me, her eyes lit up, and she enthusiastically came over, saying, "You're just in time. The movie queen is going to cook for us, or else we starve." I really didn't know she liked to cook. Perhaps she just wanted to show off her culinary skills to Tom. Thinking of this, I glanced at Tom, who was sitting nearby, but his expression didn't look too good. Did they not explain things clearly? With confusion, I walked over and greeted him with a smile. "Hey, Tom, when did you guys come back? I just had a low blood sugar episode, and it was the movie queen who helped me." He forced a smile in response. "Yes," she told me. Then why wasn't he happy? At that moment, Mary poked her head out from the kitchen. "George, what is it? Do you want?" I thought she had already asked the others, so I suggested a soup. She held a ladle and answered without hesitation, "Got it. I remember there are white radishes and beef in the kitchen. I made that too. What about fish? Raw fish?" Back and forth. Every dish I mentioned, she said she had made, as if she already knew what I liked to eat. Some people in the comments had already sensed something was off. Wait, why do I feel like these two have some chemistry? I think George is a scheming guy. The movie queen was just being polite, and he really engaged her. He's quite the player. Tom seems to be angry seeing us chatting so much. Tom suddenly interjected, "Mary, can you not put chili in the raw fish?" "I'm sorry, I can't really handle spicy food. Although I happen to like spicy food, I couldn't just let others not enjoy the fish, so I could only silently keep my mouth shut." Mary paused for a moment and softly replied, "Sure." Hearing this, Tom's expression finally improved a bit. Watching their interaction, I suddenly realized that I seemed to have talked too much just now. They were probably just being polite, and the dish was definitely something Tom liked. With that in mind, I decided to be quiet during dinner. Later, at this moment, the bullet comments started flooding in again. "Look, the best actress is listening to Brother Tom. Are you blind to be shipping others? Look at these pink bubbles. No one else can get in. And didn't the best actress say the person she likes is here? Who else could it be but Tom?" During dinner, I accidentally swallowed a fishbone while lost in thought, and it got stuck in my throat. Cough, cough, cough. I started coughing violently. Mary, who had been chatting casually with Tom, immediately got up and came over. Seeing my flushed neck, she hurriedly ran to get a pair of tweezers. Her usually calm face was now filled with anxiety and concern. "George, open your mouth." I instinctively opened my mouth, and she carefully held my face, then used the tweezers to extract the fishbone. Fortunately, the fishbone was removed quickly, and the director beside us breathed a sigh of relief, signaling the staff to record the scene. Everyone was stunned. First, they didn't expect her to be so worried about me, and second, her obsessive cleanliness seemed to vanish in that moment. I, however, didn't notice the subtle shift in atmosphere and instinctively thanked her. "Thank you, actress." To my surprise, she showed a pained expression and said, "George, why do you always get choked on fish?" Hearing this, I paused. So she had recognized me long ago. Speaking of getting a fishbone stuck, I feel quite helpless. I love eating fish, but I always end up getting stuck. One time in high school, I was eating fish in the cafeteria, and even after getting to the classroom, I still hadn't coughed it out. At that moment, Mary mysteriously handed me a bottle of vinegar, saying she had brought it from home. I was so clueless back then that I didn't even ask her how she knew I had a fishbone stuck. Checkpoint. 10 years later, she helped me once again. How can someone like her not be liked? Mary's words surprised everyone, and Amy was the first to stammer. "You know each other?" Just as I was about to cover it up, Mary calmly replied, "We were high school classmates." Just when the atmosphere became a bit complicated, Tom suddenly interrupted. "Oh no, I think I'm having an allergic reaction." Everyone's attention was drawn to him, but Mary kept staring at me, her gaze straight forward with a hint of disappointment in her tone. "You don't remember me?" As soon as she said that, I couldn't bear to refute her. I remember, I hurriedly replied. Then a faint smile appeared in her beautiful almond-shaped eyes, as if hiding endless tenderness. My ears turned red, and I quickly looked away, avoiding her gaze. Someone in the comments had already noticed that things were not simple. If before everyone thought the best actress only knew Tom and mentioned having someone she liked, shipping their CP was normal. But now, she and George were actually high school classmates. With things being like this, I wouldn't believe there's nothing fishy going on. I've never seen the best actress worry about someone like this. Oh my. Could it be that the reason the best actress insisted on going to the amusement park was because she was worried George would faint from not having breakfast? Does she know he has low blood sugar? So when she seemed to be wandering around, she was actually checking if George was going to faint? Oh my gosh, I think I've discovered some earth-shattering secret. At this moment, Tom interrupted our conversation again. Mary, I remember you have allergy medicine. Can I borrow it? I originally thought she wouldn't refuse, but unexpectedly, she immediately wiped the smile off her face, and her tone turned cold again. Allergy medicine isn't something you can take anytime. If you don't know the allergen, you should go to the hospital. When Tom said this, I quietly glanced at the red marks on his hand and couldn't help but wonder, doesn't that look like something he scratched himself? This scene was captured by those fans supporting Tom and Mary, and they instantly became excited, flooding the comments with messages. The best actress was just trying to help out of kindness. She would do the same for anyone else. Brother Tom even knows about the allergy medicine. They must chat often in private. I'm shipping them again. What the fans could think of, I naturally thought of too. So when Tom asked Mary if she could accompany him to the hospital, I quietly left the living room and returned to my room. I was afraid to face her, worried that the psychological defenses I had painstakingly built would completely collapse under just one of her glances. Even though my heart would uncontrollably race every time I saw her anxiously walking towards me, I felt like all of this was just a dream so beautiful that I wanted to indulge in it. Yet I knew there would come a day when I would wake. I prefer to keep my distance from her. From the very beginning, I just hoped she could be happy and that all her wishes could come true. In the following days, I deliberately kept my distance from her and Tom to make my avoidance seem reasonable. I started to frequently interact with Amy, using her as a shield. But Amy was no fool. After one meal, she invited me to the sweet little house in the yard, saying she wanted to talk. This little house was assumed to be for guests to confess their feelings on the show, but I hadn't fully understood the rules at the time and naively agreed, thinking I had troubled her so many times. To my surprise, the first thing she said when she saw me was, "You've been looking for me these days. Have you fallen for me?" I was taken aback and quickly shook my head in denial. Seeing my nervousness, she laughed heartily, her charming eyes sparkling with amusement as they looked at me. "Just kidding. You like the best actress, right? She's beautiful, kind-hearted, hard-working, and outstanding. I'm not surprised you like her at all." I initially wanted to lie, but I didn't want to deceive someone who had helped me for several days. After hesitating, I admitted, yeah, I like her, and it wasn't just a little. I had liked her for a very long time. But thinking of that love-filled and hopeful letter, I suppressed the bitterness inside and forced a casual smile. I know she likes Tom, so I don't want to disturb them. Amy blinked in surprise. Oh, I thought. Seeing my puzzled expression, she suddenly became a bit excited. In that case, how about we give it a try? She looked like a little girl who had spotted her favorite candy, her eyes shining as she leaned closer to me. Maybe it's because I think I might like you a little, huh? Although I didn't explicitly agree to her, that night I also didn't firmly refuse, so she took it as an opportunity to test herself. Afterwards, she always found ways to show me kindness. Everyone thought we had expressed our feelings for each other, and even the comments started shipping our CP. In fact, I also wanted to see if I could like someone else. After all, the pain of unrequited love is truly unbearable. But every time I was alone with Amy for less than 3 minutes, Mary would inexplicably appear, and soon after, Tom would come looking for her. At first, I thought it was a coincidence, but Amy seemed to sense something. One time, while I was deep in thought, Amy suddenly leaned over, her warm breath brushing against my ear. "You have something in your hair." I instinctively wanted to pull away, but then I heard Mary's cold voice. "What are you two doing?" Amy had a look of I knew it on her face, and then, seeing Tom searching for her outside, she smiled brightly and said, "Well, the man has feelings and the woman has intentions. I won't get involved." After saying that, she turned to leave, casually sending Tom away as well. I was startled by her words and hurriedly explained to Mary, "Sorry, she sometimes speaks without thinking. Actress, please don't take it." My tone, filled with fear of her misunderstanding, only made Mary's expression colder. I even thought I saw a flicker of hurt in her eyes, and my mind became a mess. Just when I was doubting whether I had misread the situation, I heard her softly ask, "You seem to really dislike me." Hearing this, I immediately retorted, "How could that be?" She pressed her lips together, closing in on me step by step, her usual calmness gone. It seemed a layer of mist had settled under her long eyelashes. "Then why have you been avoiding me these past few days? Could I say I didn't want to be a third wheel? Besides, we weren't that close, and her putting on this heart-melting expression really left me no choice. So, I could only tell the truth again. Well, you're with Tom, right? It would be inappropriate for me to be around. What if he gets upset?" Her expression froze, seemingly not expecting me to say that. After a long pause, she asked with hesitation and disbelief, "You think I like him?" I was even more confused and retorted, "Isn't that the case? In my past life, you liked him for so long and even wrote such passionate love letters. Anyone would think you were infatuated." Just as I was about to leave again, she quickly grabbed my arm, her tone filled with anger and urgency. "I don't like him." My heart skipped a beat, and I looked at her in shock. She enunciated each word seriously, confessing to me, "The person I like is you, George." I was stunned, involuntarily gasping, then feeling somewhat at a loss. I blinked, swallowed hard, and instinctively avoided her gaze. But then I felt that was impolite, so I had to shift my gaze back. My lips moved for a long time, yet I couldn't utter a single word. The person who only appeared in my dreams was now right in front of me, openly expressing her feelings for me. I felt like my heart was about to leap out of my throat, and I didn't dare to respond, only gasping awkwardly and staring at her blankly. Is this a dream? Mary didn't get a response from me, but she didn't lose heart. Her beautiful, clear eyes curved slightly. "I don't need you to like me right away. I just hope you won't avoid me anymore as if I'm something unpleasant. That would make me a little sad." As soon as she said this, the fans who had been following the show instantly erupted. Although I previously shipped the wrong CP. "Now, George, please stop avoiding her. When did my best actress care so much about others? But why do I inexplicably feel that they are so compatible? Oh no, I seem to think they match well too. Handsome guy and beautiful girl. This damn attribute of being has flared up again. So the person the best actress has always liked is George? Does that mean she has had a crush on him since high school? Oh my, it's been 10 years, right? The best actress has liked George for so long." I knew she was saying this on purpose to make me stop avoiding her, but I just couldn't stand to see her belittle herself like that. So, I immediately grabbed her delicate fair hand and replied earnestly, "You are a very dazzling person. You're definitely not something bad," seeing that she had achieved her goal. Mary's lips curled up, and her previously dejected expression instantly brightened. Her eyes, seemingly filled with gentle moonlight, were full of smiles. "Thank you." At this point, the bullet comments were completely taken over by the George and Mary CP, and even a super topic was established overnight. But in the middle of the night, I suddenly woke up from a dream, thinking about that unforgettable love letter, and finally realized something was off. If Mary liked me, then how could the love letter end up in Tom's hands 3 years later? Could it be she mistook the person? Maybe Tom had saved her once, and she regarded Tom as her white moonlight. But because she mistook the person, she embarked on a journey of pursuing love. Yet the increasingly popular Tom didn't accept her due to the misunderstanding, which is why Mary left in sorrow and even chose to commit suicide. This all seemed to make sense, and could also explain the Weibo post she made before her suicide. After figuring all this out, I breathed a sigh of relief, bitterly laughing to myself. Fortunately, I almost fell for it. Although this was just my speculation, when I said this, my throat felt a bit hoarse, my heart ached fiercely, and I didn't even notice my eyes had turned red. I just silently hoped that even if I learned the truth in the future, I could still see her in my dreams, even if only in dreams. I never expected that the next day, the director would suddenly decide that we had to go to the island for a mission. As a result, I was paired with Mary, and we hadn't found the food card yet, which meant we wouldn't have lunch. To avoid making the atmosphere too awkward, I planned to talk to her about it later. But my bad luck struck again. While climbing the mountain to search for the card, just as I was about to reach for a card on the slope, Mary suddenly rushed over anxiously, shouting, "George, don't move." I was startled by her shout and lost my balance, tumbling down uncontrollably. Just as I was about to fall, Mary reached out and grabbed my hand, so we rolled down the slope together. I was inwardly lamenting my terrible luck. I closed my eyes, my heart racing. In the chaos, I caught a whiff of her pleasant scent as she held my head protectively. After a dizzying tumble, we landed on flat ground. It was only then that I came to my senses, my face turning pale instantly. She lay there quietly, her face ashen. Once so high and radiant, she now lay silently in the dirty, chaotic mud. I cautiously checked for her breath and examined her head, discovering a wound on the back of her skull that was bleeding. My heart ached sharply, and I couldn't stop blaming myself for participating in this mission. I'm sorry. I wanted to call for help, but I found that the photographer had long since disappeared. I could only keep calling her name, hoping to wake her up, but I didn't dare to move her body for fear of causing further injury. Years ago, when she helped me fend off the bullies, she was always protecting me. But once I shared my suspicions with her, I thought perhaps all that favoritism would vanish. It didn't matter right now. I just hoped she would wake up. No matter who she chose to love, I just wanted her to be happy. Soon, the staff and the director arrived at the scene and took Mary to the hospital. I frantically explained what had happened when Tom stormed over, his expression cold, and punched me hard. With a bang, everyone present was stunned. "George, why is Mary injured while you're fine? No matter how careless you are, you shouldn't drag others down with you. Do you know that hitting your head can be life-threatening?" Amy pulled me behind her and said seriously, "George didn't want this to happen. It was just an accident. How can you blame him for everything?" At that moment, the director also came out to mediate, but with something like this happening, the recording could definitely not continue. I heard people around me sighing, saw Tom's gloomy face, and the director calmly arranging the follow-up matters. All of this seemed to be caused by me. If only I hadn't gone to pick up that card. I suddenly remembered that when I was a child, bad things would happen whenever I showed up, and everyone said I was a jinx. So, I had always been alone, with no desk mate and no friends. But during my youth, a special girl like Mary appeared. Then I finally realized clearly that the person she likes is really me. My originally firm and calm heart, at the moment our eyes met, began to race uncontrollably. It felt as if an invisible force struck my brain, causing me to lose my ability to think. In an instant, my lips parted slightly, yet I couldn't utter a single word. Mary, however, patiently waited for my response. Finally, I asked the deepest question in my heart. "But what is it about me that you find worthy of your affection? You are so outstanding, so dazzling." She seemed to have known that I was struggling with this question and immediately replied, "Perhaps it's because when a person does what they love, they shine brightly. No matter how little faith the teachers and classmates have in you, no matter how terrible your family environment is, you have always been working hard, persisting in your study, and doing what you believe is right, never giving up on yourself because of external influences. So the one who has always guided me forward is you. You are like the light in my life." Hearing her sincere confession, I was so excited that I stuttered, unable to say a complete sentence for a long time. "No way. How could you think that?" Mary interrupted me. "This love letter was written especially for you. Would you like to take a look at it first?" I certainly knew what her love letter said. In my past life, I had memorized that letter perfectly, But I never expected that she had liked me for so long and had always been too afraid to say it out loud. Yet I was still puzzled as to why she would commit suicide. I feared that in this life, I still wouldn't be able to change her fate. Racking my brain to recall what happened during that time in my past life, I suddenly thought of something and sent her a question on my phone. Mary, would you be sad if I married someone else soon? Her reply came back. Why would you marry someone else? Do you have someone you like? Is it Amy or someone else? Can I try again? It was clear she was anxious. After a while, she sent another message as if mustering the courage to reveal her scars. You might not know, but my parents had a business marriage. They never gave me love. People around me who approached me or liked me did so because of my status. Only you came close to me because of who I am. Reading these words, my eyes slowly widened as I seemed to guess the reason. In my past life, my mother thought I had reached the age to get married and wanted grandchildren, so she unilaterally arranged a marriage for me, even setting a wedding date and sending invitations to friends and family, trying to force me to comply. I had no choice but to escape. But I never expected that just as I settled down, I would hear the news of Mary's suicide. Could it be that she encountered some difficulties at that time, but found no one to confide in? And that love letter might have been taken by her company to exploit, squeezing out the last bit of value. Thinking of this, I first felt hatred for my own cowardice back then. If I had been a little braver and expressed my love, would everything have been different? With this thought, I lay on my bed and seriously sent her a voice message. I said, I want to marry someone else. Mary, I like you too. It started 10 years ago that I could imagine she would be happy, but I didn't expect her to be this happy. She not only clarified the reason for the injury, but also asked everyone not to blame me. After all, standing up for someone you like is an instinctive reaction. So the online buzz started again, especially after we officially announced our relationship. She patiently answered every question from the fans, as if she were chatting with everyone. When you first said, "You're my brilliant star," were you talking about George? Yes, if he didn't participate in this show, I would have withdrawn too. The breakfast was made for him, right? Yes, he likes to eat eggs in the morning. You insisted on going to the amusement park because you knew George had low blood sugar and were worried about him, right? That's right. She answered almost every question seriously. Her company also stopped interfering, as this wasn't considered negative gossip. Instead, it brought some attention. Moreover, she said that making money can happen anytime, but if her boyfriend runs away, that would be a disaster. I heard this from my agent, and it was both amusing and touching. Every move she made told me that she really cared about me. At that moment, my heart was filled with warmth, and the emotions of gratitude and joy were overwhelming. How lucky I am that the person I like happens to like me too. After we made our official announcement, Tom deleted those previous Weibo posts that could easily lead to misunderstandings, probably realizing that his earlier actions were somewhat inappropriate. He also faced backlash from fans because of the punch he threw at me before. These fans are truly passionate. Once they feel their idol has acted inappropriately, they become very angry. So I posted a Weibo message explaining that he was just concerned about a friend and that appropriate interactions among friends are normal, interpreting his previous impulsive behavior. Behavior is just a little playful banter between friends. That night, Tom sent me an apology message. I'm sorry I was too impulsive before. Although those interactions were arranged by the company, I did indeed have feelings for her. But now, I sincerely hope you too can be happy. In fact, I hadn't taken the previous incident to heart, so I replied to him, "Thank you for your blessing. Liking someone is not something to be ashamed of. You are very brave, and you didn't mean to target me. I hope you can find your own happiness too." Unexpectedly, when Mary accidentally saw my message, her first reaction was to question me. "By the way, when others approach me, don't you feel a bit jealous?" she pouted, looking somewhat angry, clearly waiting for me to comfort her. I deliberately teased her. "Well, actually it's not that bad." As soon as I finished speaking, she jumped into my arms, tightly wrapping her arms around my waist and pulling me closer, saying with dissatisfaction, "Was it not that bad? You have no idea. When Mang Se-wei got close to you, I wanted to pull her away immediately, and keep her far from you. Hearing her jealous confession, I couldn't help but laugh, and I felt happy discovering this cute side of her. All right, I'm actually very jealous. I hope you completely belong to me alone. As soon as I finished speaking, Mary suddenly kissed me eagerly, as if she couldn't wait to leave her mark on something she loved. The last bit of rationality left in me barely allowed me to squeeze out a sentence. Shall we go back to the room? She paused for a moment, her voice soft and gentle. Okay then, you carry me. Joe was the name she secretly called me during high school to avoid being discovered by others. She changed one character so she could call me out loud without any worries. That was a beautiful memory of youth that belonged solely to me. Fortunately, our youth and future have finally intertwined closely together.